Hello, it's Michael. I'm at the Solar Decathlon. Very sunny day, so quite a good match for that event. It's probably the foremost event for sustainable architecture that you can find anywhere. This one is for the first time in Germany, and it's really great. I'm amazed by all these ideas by the students that they have on sustainability regarding the construction, the materials, the design, the ideas. Just outstanding. You got to be here. I'll be showing you a bit more about it.
So let's have first a look at the different criterias and the awards that the students can gain here. 10 topics are in the focus of the people, and then there is of course my individual focus on the architectural lighting. There are 18 teams from 11 countries and 16 houses built within just 14 days of erection time. It was really interesting to see how the student teams worked together within these 14 days. Some projects were realized faster than others because they were made in a modular principle and had a lot of prefabrication in their home sites. One of the first houses that you see when you arrive on the ground is the one from the University of Delft in the Netherlands. As with most exhibition units, this one was always quite crowded by the people. I was told that more than 30,000 people visited within the first 2 or 3 days of that show, and I bet it's going to be 100,000 or more until the 14 days are over. When this video is released this Sunday, there are still 7 days left, so take your chance to see it all live if you can. Now let's have a look into that building. I give you a few insights with screenshots and a short video clip every now and then.
Studying at TU Delft. Our team is from the Netherlands, so it's not too tight of a space, but then you have an opportunity to party or whatever you want to do. So again, our goal is to, as in the same way that we try to be as modular with the construction of the building, we try to be as flexible and modular with the actual living experience.
As you can see with this modular housing, the interior is kept quite simple. You have got lighting on tracks on the ceiling. And on the left side, we had very interestingly a poster showing the idea that is about renovating the typical 70s house you can find in many Dutch cities, which are from the energetic point not so well, and that could need improvement on the social aspect, on the energetic aspect. No, to replicate the traditional architecture and innovate it further with adding the blue panels above. They do not only look like the Flemic tiles, they are in fact solar panels with a printing on it, still keeping almost the full potential of the solar panels that you could have. Talking about tiles, the next one that comes to my mind is the Azalea team from Spain. The patio on the top, which is a really nice place in these sunny times that we had there. It's all designed around a centralized block which includes all the technical devices in the bottom and on the top floor. In line with the traditional design, these aisles, which here on the left side have plants, which is using grey water to grow. And from the lighting perspective, it's interesting to see that this is one of the few places where they have made use of daylight installations. Another building using tiles was right next to it from Taiwan. The team had a very new technology there with tiles that turn white when it's sunny, like in our case. And as you can see on the screen that I photographed from her phone, initially these tiles had different colors in pink and blue and yellow. It's a coating that reacts on the temperature, which means that when it's sunny, it's going to reflect more of the energy. And if it's less sunny or if it's not sunny at all, then it's going to absorb some of the energy, which is in fact a very energy efficient way of gaining the energy when you need it, and reflecting it when you don't need it. But let's listen once more to the student herself.
We don't have many space to building a house, and so in front of our houses or beyond of our houses is not space to building like garden. So we design this class to like functions like garden. So if we have friends, we have some meeting or chatting, any activity.
A breathing balcony is also something new to me, but I think it's quite helpful in their building conditions at home in Taiwan. What was also very intriguing was the thing that I thought it would be a chandelier. Well, it is illuminated and looks like a chandelier at the night time, but what's making it more interesting if you look at it closer, that these are containers for wax, and these are used to absorb heat and bring it back and getting crystallized again in the nighttime when it's colder. The next pavilion to the right was from the Mimo team from Düsseldorf. This one was not attractive only to many of the visitors, but also to the insects, as the garden was particularly made for bees and similar animals. The interior, very open, very light white, is containing, as with all the other teams, a lot of wood, and the walls are cladded with cork. The rear wall contained bricks, a huge mass that could contain temperature. And what was to me interesting was not only the wall finish, but also how the walls were made. They used traditional methods of assemblage. Complete building was a glue-free construction, which is quite unique. Nearby was the house from the team from Aachen. First of all, thanks to their team and the way they led us around through the building, particularly the children, great work. Their concept was very advanced, having 3 individual cubes in each story that are part of a common space or a shared space for these 3 peoples. As these cubes are only about 4 or 5 square meters large, it needs a bit of restriction. It is quite restrictive to the users, but it's an innovative concept and well worth considering. Before we move on, I should not forget to pronounce the importance of the textile facade of the Aachen Pavilion. The textile is able to extract the nitrate from the grain and thus making it able to return into the plants. Quite nice feature. I'm sorry for not being able to giving every team the attention it deserves. Here we have a short glimpse into the Hungarian house, which is using paper-made and felt-made luminaires. As some others, as a climate buffer, they have an indoor garden, and when you leave the house, you can see how nice it is. You see the surrounding situation in the background, the Mimo building from Düsseldorf, and here we have the next one, which is the building from the Czech Republic. The Czech house uses hop on the exterior to create shadow through the spring and summertime, because it grows quite quick and can even be used for making beer in the winter or in the autumn time. The interior is focusing on reused materials, wood of course as usual, while most of the wall claddings are made of Tetra Pak style material. And what was nice, that they even thought about human-centric lighting, using different colors of light and the orientation of light as well, so like a night orientation light for the bathroom. Another building in the region that's going to stay for another 3 years is the Sweden house, which is unfortunately a bit delayed because they have had some technical issues with their 3D printing of wooden-based fibers, as far as I was told. This is from the Rosenheim house, which is having, like some others, the in-house garden. Here in the top floor, the right side, you would be able to see the water reconditioning units, which is quite huge and very innovative. Now let's have a look at the building itself. Here the team was particularly proud about the innovation in the lighting system, where you could switch or change between light bulbs, or where you could switch between downlights and luminaire fixing devices by this tiny item. That was their main innovation in the lighting sector. The building itself had a very nice atmosphere. I like the design, was very spacious. The outside, as you can see, cladded with solar panels as so often seen. The outside terrace with plants, a lot of wood like usual. A typical house for this event. In the background you can see the French house from Grenoble. They, not like most of the other buildings, the French building was situated in Grenoble, where the university is. The architecture was one of the few that in fact had a lighting design that worked at nighttime, as you'll be seeing at the end of the presentation. The facade was automatically ventilated by these glass openings, or behind these glass openings. Here you can see the building automation installation, which is quite huge and uses adiabatic cooling, which you will also, it uses adiabatic cooling system, which you can find also in one other building in a more historical way, or in a more traditional way. Here, very traditional, is the wall cladding based on clay, sand and straw, which could be colored by adding some more stone-based material, and as they said, it can even be made waterproof. Up next is the house from Biberach. First you see the north side, which would be detached against a similar house on the next side, so therefore it is unfinished. That's the way up to the rooftop. And here you once again have PVT elements, photovoltaic with a thermal background. And now we're going to turn our attention to some images from the interior. This one's followed by the house from the German-Turkish collaboration. And here you see the straw kind of insulation on the exterior. Nice graphics, by the way. The interior is surprised with more rudimental but interesting way of illuminating the interior, all the same kind of fixtures. Most interesting was the exterior. On the rooftop there was a presentation on the efficiency of the solar panels in standard way, and compared with the thermal backpiece that is making use of the thermal energy and enhancing the efficiency of the solar panel itself. All in all, it's about double the efficiency than a simple solar panel. Next to it, unfortunately not shown, is a prototype of a photovoltaic system which is organic, based on spirulina algae. Colorful way of doing it, yet they're not as efficient as they should be to be good alternative against current solutions. But yet it is an example of the progress that we're all making by supporting the universities. The project from Bucharest surprised me by referring to their traditional architecture, which included spaces for communities to get together like this one, and on community spaces in the interior as well. The furniture was interesting, was using citations from traditional local designs. The lighting was of surprise, as they used mostly U lamps by Philips or Signify, as some others did. But the biggest surprise came when I looked at the spotlights, which looked like quite boring items, but in fact they have not been. They were using glass fibers with light coming from the outside through sunlight collectors on the roof, like you can see here in this picture. Only a few are left to look at. This one is from the roof kit team from Karlsruhe. I guess they have been the second or even the first team that had erected their building, because the upper part had to be erected on steel trusses that made it really fast, and the modular way it was done was obviously a success. If you look at it closely, you see a section on the side wall which was very interesting and entertaining for those not being from the architecture world as well. They have been strongly focusing on the building engineering, the technology, automation, and reuse of water, for example. Inside, they used some felt material to fill out the wooden frames. And as a fun fact, no, it's not the luminaires, it's the material from the luminaires that is made from fungi that create the material that you also can see between the windows. The windows by themselves have been made of unused windows from the window production sites. Now to another one which has been next door. Unfortunately, I have no exterior images that would be well deserved, as many people I spoke to really liked the exterior design. In particular, have a look at the University of Eindhoven's web page. They will surely have some images there. They seem to have their own style of humor, as you can see by the cabling on the ceiling. The luminaires themselves have been supplied by Signify, being of the U type, as you know. What's interesting about is the circle you can see in the back. Here you have it a little bit closer. This one is the device to control the building automation system, in particular things like washing machines and other house appliances for all the users of these commonly used devices. On the exterior you have wooden cladding made from old houses. You have some of these tiny holes which currently are closed. They are used for bats to stay there. And all around the building you have, on the sunny sides, solar panels with a printing on it that reduces the efficiency only slightly, but would adapt more to the style of the building. And you have a lot of plants around it. And like with all the others, the mobility concepts are all based on bicycles, not so much anymore about cars. Now we have the team from Stuttgart, the Collab team, that surprised me with this heat chimney, which is a window with a black textile behind that causes a temperature of up to 90 degrees in between the window and the cloth. That is working very well with the adiabatic climatization that you can see through this door, which is having nylon wires in front of it where water drops down and causes a very, very efficient cooling. That's the facade. The facade made of old woods from other production sites, from other building sites. Here you can see the interior and most importantly the model of the house, that we can see that it is intended to be used for other much larger places, like this image shows you. In Stuttgart there are plenty of places just in the center where this concept could be used to enlarge existing buildings. Now there's a very nice play of shadows by the organic photovoltaic cells that you can see here. The most relevant advantage of these photovoltaic cells is that they are quite tolerant against from the question from where the light comes, that they have a longer lifespan, about 5 times as much as a traditional photovoltaic element, and their production and at the end the waste is much easier to handle. The interior has some nice lighting issues as well. As you can see here, that's the kitchen area, which has a cladding made from yogurt cans, like the bathroom as well. The bathroom uses human-centric lighting called a light shower that should wake you up like the water does. The much larger surprise came in the upper story, where the DC tape was new to me, a tape that could be stuck on the wall and be used for power consumption or power supply of luminaires. and even to charge things via USB cables. Now that has been part of the crew that made that building possible, a team that can really be proud of their achievements. Congratulations to them. Now let's see some final shots from the evening. In fact, the majority has not focused on lighting, even less about atmospheric lighting in the evening. I must admit that those who did it achieved attractive results. But we are talking about sustainability, and the time to act is now. I wonder what the lighting world could do to reduce carbon footprint and improve sustainability. The recently published EN 12464 standard seems to me like a sales promotion for the industry that is in total contrast to the industry. The recently published EN 12464 standard seems to me like a sales promotion for the industry. It is in total contrast to the interest of the growing generations. As a lighting designer and father, I try to achieve good lighting design, but cannot ignore our responsibility towards nature. Just one additional aspect about this. I'm involved in the creation of Luminaire AR, a tool that could reduce the need of shipping samples around and reduce electronics gap caused by this significantly. Now see, these people here are doing so well in Wuppertal. It should inspire us all to act more responsibly. Please come here and see the houses. Check the webpage SDE21.eu and have a look here until the end of June of 2022. Best regards, Michael. Thank you for watching.